Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going behind the Hollywood persona of Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah?
You know him as Rocky and Rambo and a whole bunch of other iconic characters. But we're going beyond the screen, exploring a side of his life that's been marked by various allegations, some going back decades.
Wow.
We've got court documents, police reports, firsthand accounts from multiple sources.
Oh, wow.
Our mission to sift through this complex history and see what insights we can uncover.
It's important to note we're not here to pass judgment or take sides.
Right.
Our aim is to present this information objectively and allow you to draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, we're like archaeologists carefully unearthing the layers of a story to understand the bigger picture.
I like that analogy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And the first layer takes us back to 1986 Las Vegas.
Okay.
Stallone, at 40, was there filming a movie when an incident allegedly occurred that wouldn't surface until 2016. 2016 is when a police report emerged detailing accusations from a then 16-year-old girl, alleging Stallone coerced her into a threesome with his bodyguard.
That's a serious accusation.
Yeah, heavy stuff right off the bat.
Yeah.
And as you might expect, Stallone vehemently denied these claims, calling them fabrications.
Right. And his ex-wife at the time, Brigitte Nielsen, corroborated his denial.
Okay.
She claimed to have been with Stallone throughout the period in question, making the accusation impossible. Even David Mendenhall, Stallone's co-star in Over the Top, refuted claims that he introduced Stallone to the accuser.
So right from the start, we're seeing these conflicting accounts. This seems to be a recurring theme in these situations, doesn't it?
It often is, yeah.
What's fascinating is that these allegations emerge even decades after the supposed event.
Right.
That must make it incredibly difficult to investigate and verify claims.
Absolutely. The passage of time can blur memories, make evidence harder to gather, and really complicate the legal process.
Right.
This raises a crucial point about how we as a society grapple with delayed accusations. Should there be statutes of limitations on such serious allegations, or should the pursuit of justice transcend time?
That's a really important question. It seems we need to balance the need for timely reporting with the understanding that trauma can often delay a victim's ability to come forward.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's move on to the next layer of this story. This one hits close to home, involving Stallone's half-sister, Toni Ann Felitti.
Okay.
This incident takes us to 1987, when Felitti threatened to sue Stallone for alleged abuse.
Right.
Ultimately, a settlement was reached with Stallone paying Felitti $2 million, along with monthly payments and a trust for medical and psychiatric expenses.
Wow.
$2 million is a substantial sum.
Yeah.
This makes me wonder about the reasons behind Stallone's decision to settle. Wouldn't a settlement, even without an admission of guilt, suggest there was some merit to Felitti's claims?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Settlements often reflect a desire to avoid lengthy and costly legal battles, regardless of the actual merits of the case. In this instance, both Stallone and his mother, Jacqueline Stallone, vehemently denied the abuse allegations. They claimed Felitti struggled with drug addiction and was attempting to extort money from him.
So once again, we're presented with conflicting narratives.
Yeah.
What makes this situation even more complicated is the perspective of Felitti's son, Ed, who entered the picture after her death in 2012.
Right.
Ed publicly stated that his mother consistently spoke about the alleged abuse by Stallone. This adds another layer of complexity, highlighting the different interpretations and memories within a family facing such serious accusations.
It does. It really does.
It's like each piece of this puzzle creates a new question rather than providing a clear answer. What's also interesting is how power dynamics might play a role in these situations.
Oh, yeah.
A celebrity like Stallone holds a certain level of influence that could potentially impact legal proceedings or public perception.
You're right. The interplay of fame, wealth, and power inevitably influences how such cases are handled and perceived by the public. It raises questions about whether all parties truly have equal standing when navigating the legal system.
That's a sobering thought.
Yeah,
We'll have to keep that in mind as we continue unpacking this intricate history.
definitely.
Now let's jump ahead to the early 1990s to an allegation that would resurface in 2017.
Okay.
This allegation stems from an incident that allegedly occurred in Stallone's Santa Monica office.
Right.
A woman came forward accusing Stallone of sexual assault.
Wow.
And as we've seen with the previous allegations, Stallone denied any wrongdoing. This time, his attorney entered the scene, claiming that the accuser only went to the police after failing to sell her story to an entertainment website.
That's interesting.
But he did, however, acknowledge that Stallone and the woman had a consensual relationship back in 1987.
Okay, so a consensual relationship, but years earlier. This is a very specific detail.
Right.
And it adds a layer of nuance to the story.
It does.
It seems important to consider all aspects of the alleged timeline and the nature of the relationship between Stallone and the accuser.
It really highlights the complexities involved in such cases.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what happened next? Did this particular allegation go to trial?
It did spark a police investigation.
Okay.
The Santa Monica Police Department presented its findings to a special task force. But in 2018, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office decided not to file charges. The reason, a lack of corroborating evidence.
So even with an investigation, the case ultimately hit a roadblock due to the difficulties in proving or disproving allegations from so long ago.
Exactly. This case, and others like it, demonstrate the challenges associated with delayed disclosures.
Yeah.
Often physical evidence is no longer available, and memories can be unreliable after years or even decades have passed.
It seems like a frustrating situation for everyone involved, especially for those seeking a sense of closure or justice.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that the pursuit of truth, particularly in cases involving historical allegations, can be a long and arduous journey, with no guarantee of a definitive resolution.
And it brings to light the heavy burden of proof placed on those who come forward with such allegations, often years after the events occurred.
Right, those are all really important things to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really underscores the complexities we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
And this complexity doesn't end there.
Oh no.
In 2001, another woman, exotic dancer Margie Carr, accused Stallone of sexual assault, this time at a Santa Monica gym.
Okay, so yet another serious accusation. It's hard not to notice a pattern emerging here. I'm guessing Stallone denied these claims as well.
Yes. His team vehemently denied Carr's allegations, calling them baseless and suggesting her motivation was financial gain.
Okay.
They pointed to the fact that Carr sold her story to a magazine before filing the lawsuit, which raises questions about her intentions.
That's an interesting tactic. Selling the story beforehand certainly casts a shadow of doubt on the accuser's motivations.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if the primary goal was to expose wrongdoing or to profit from a sensational story involving a celebrity.
It certainly adds a layer of ambiguity to the situation, making it harder to discern the truth.
Right.
Raises questions about the media's role in shaping public perception and the potential for individuals to exploit these situations for personal gain.
It's a reminder that every story has multiple sides, and navigating the truth within those complexities can be a real challenge. We've seen a recurring theme of he said, she said throughout these allegations.
Yeah.
It seems like the lack of concrete evidence and the passage of time make it incredibly difficult to reach definitive conclusions.
Precisely, and this is where the conversation often shifts from legal proceedings to the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
When allegations lack conclusive evidence, people tend to form opinions based on personal biases, media portrayals, and their existing perceptions of the individuals involved.
You're right, it's easy to get caught up in the sensationalism of these stories, but it's important to remember that we're dealing with real people and serious allegations. We need to be careful about rushing to judgment or assuming guilt or innocence based on incomplete information.
Exactly. It's crucial to approach these situations with nuance and critical thinking.
Yeah.
Consider the evidence presented, understand the potential motivations of all parties involved, and acknowledge the limitations of what we can truly know about events that transpired years or even decades ago.
So while we may never know the full truth behind these allegations, we can strive to engage in thoughtful discussions and avoid perpetuating harmful stereotypes or assumptions.
For sure.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about an incident that, while not directly related to sexual assault, still puts Stallone in the legal spotlight.
You're referring to the 2007 incident in Australia involving human growth hormone.
Right, that's the one.
Okay.
It's fascinating how this incident adds another layer to Stallone's public persona, one that goes beyond the tough guy image he's known for.
Absolutely. It provides a glimpse into the pressures of maintaining a certain physique in the entertainment industry.
Right.
Particularly as actors age and face competition from younger stars.
So remind us, what exactly led to Stallone's legal trouble in Australia?
Stallone was in Australia to promote a film when customs officials discovered 48 vials of gintropin in his luggage.
Okay.
Gintropin is a synthetic form of human growth hormone, or HGH.
And I understand HGH is a controlled substance in Australia.
It is.
Leading to Stallone facing legal charges.
Right.
I'm curious, what are the typical uses of HGH and why is it so controversial?
HGH is naturally produced by the body, but synthetic versions are often used in medical settings to treat growth hormone deficiencies.
Okay.
However, it's also become associated with bodybuilding and anti-aging treatments, leading to a thriving black market and concerns about potential health risks.
So it sounds like Stallone's case brought to light the ethical and legal complexities surrounding the use of performance-enhancing drugs, especially in the entertainment industry.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder about the pressures actors and actresses face to conform to certain physical standards.
Absolutely. The incident sparked debates about body image ideals, the ethics of using such substances for non-medical purposes, and the influence of Hollywood culture on societal perceptions of beauty and aging.
It's a reminder that the entertainment industry often operates under a different set of rules and expectations, and these incidents offered a glimpse into the behind-the-scenes pressures that can lead individuals down questionable paths. But it also raises questions about personal responsibility and accountability.
Right. While we can acknowledge the pressures that exist, ultimately, individuals are responsible for their actions and choices. Stallone's guilty plea to 2 counts of possessing a controlled substance underscores this point.
His guilty plea definitely shifted the conversation from speculation and allegations to a legal acknowledgement of wrongdoing.
It did.
It's interesting how this particular incident had a clear-cut resolution, unlike the more ambiguous situations involving sexual assault allegations.
It highlights the difference between cases with concrete evidence leading to legal consequences and those relying on personal testimonies and often conflicting accounts,
Right.
making it harder to achieve legal closure.
So, while this deep dive has taken us through some murky waters, it's provided valuable insights into the complexities of allegations,
For sure.
the challenges of navigating truth and perception,
Yeah.
and the impact of these events on both the individuals involved and society as a whole.
It's a reminder that even in the seemingly glamorous world of Hollywood, there are often hidden layers and challenging realities that deserve our attention and thoughtful consideration.
Okay, so it seems like we've only just scratched the surface of a much larger conversation.
I think we have.
What are some of the key takeaways you think listeners should consider as they process all of this information about Stallone?
I think this deep dive has really highlighted the importance of critical thinking
Yeah.
and nuanced perspectives. When dealing with allegations, especially those from the past, it's crucial to avoid rushing to judgment or forming opinions based solely on headlines or social media narratives.
Right. We need to dig deeper, consider multiple viewpoints, and acknowledge the complexities inherent in these situations.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that truth can be elusive, especially when dealing with events that transpired years or even decades ago.
Yeah. And as we've discussed, the court of public opinion can be a powerful force, often shaping perceptions and influencing outcomes before all the facts are known.
It's a reminder that while we can't be judge and jury in these cases,
Right.
we can strive to be informed, thoughtful, and responsible in how we engage with these sensitive topics.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing the potential for bias, the impact of power dynamics, and the importance of due process for all parties involved. We need to be cautious about perpetuating stereotypes or making assumptions based on incomplete information.
We've talked a lot about the challenges of navigating truth and perception, especially when dealing with allegations against high-profile individuals like Stallone. But I'm also curious about the broader implications of these stories.
Okay.
How do these events impact our understanding of accountability and the dynamics of power and fame?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think these stories force us to grapple with the complexities of power and its potential for misuse.
Right.
When someone holds a position of influence, whether in Hollywood or any other field,
Right.
it's crucial to consider how that power can impact relationships, interactions, and even legal proceedings.
Right. It's a reminder that fame and fortune don't make anyone immune to scrutiny or accountability.
For sure.
And as we've seen with the #MeToo movement, there's been a significant shift in how we address allegations of misconduct, particularly against powerful individuals.
Absolutely. The #MeToo movement has empowered survivors to come forward,
Yeah.
challenging long-held power structures and demanding greater accountability from those in positions of authority.
It's been a catalyst for important conversations about consent, respect, and the importance of believing survivors.
It's also forced institutions and industries to reevaluate their policies and practices,
Yeah.
creating spaces for dialogue and hopefully fostering a culture of greater transparency and accountability.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope listeners will take away from this exploration of Sylvester Stallone's complex history?
I hope this deep dive has encouraged listeners to think critically, to challenge their own biases, and to approach these sensitive topics with nuance and empathy. It's a reminder that behind the headlines and the public personas, there are human stories with complexities and layers that deserve our careful consideration.
Well said, and as we navigate these challenging conversations, it's essential to remember that we all have a role to play in fostering a society that prioritizes justice, accountability, and respect for all individuals. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and we encourage you to continue exploring these important issues.